It's my pleasure to discuss the impact of important changes in today's economic and societal environment on marketing theories and frameworks. And thereby, I will mainly focus on the customer experience and customer journey theory and frameworks. Before doing so, I'd like to focus on which environmental changes we discuss here. It is important to note that we should make a distinction between much more temporal changes and much more structural changes. An important temporal change in today's environment is the economic changes. We now have a very uncertain economic times, and there's probably going to be a recession in many Western economic societies. However, we actually know a lot that during expansions and during recessions, firms and customers behave differently. And it's unlikely that that knowledge will become different in the coming years. A specific change in today's environment are the high inflation rates. But also be aware that is not novel in that sense. Already in the 70s of the last century, there were also high inflation rates, also caused, by the way, by an energy crisis. Hence, I think the other important changes could be more structural. The first change, sometimes referred to, is the health change, and specifically the COVID pandemic we had. This had a profound impact on our society in the last 2 years. And the question is how this will be enduring. And that's not very clear at this point. I, together with two colleagues, Laura Sloot and Corine Noordrood, wrote an article about it that has been published in the Journal of Service Management. And I will not discuss this at this video any further. The three other changes that I would like to focus on are mainly the changes in climate, and that is to some extent related also to the energy crisis we now have. The second element that I would like to focus on are the changes in digital technologies that has been profound now already for a couple of decades. And the third important change are the geopolitical changes, especially the increasing importance of China, and also that you see that the geopolitical change has an effect on how specific countries are considered and how they are treated in our Western world. And thereby you could specifically focus on Russia. Again, the question is how structural are these changes and how are they affecting our marketing theories? In general, I would be very hesitant to immediately say this leads to a paradigm shift, or this leads to the fact that these theories no longer hold. Within marketing and within strategy, you actually take into account changes and change in the environment a lot. And I think one of the challenges, or one of the characteristics of a good theory, that this theory should be robust against major changes in the environment. Having said this, I would like to focus now on the effect of these two first changes, the climate change and the digital change. First, let me think about this climate change. Would that have an effect, for instance, on the customer experience and how we look at it? We've defined customer experience specifically as a multidimensional construct that has cognitive, emotional, social, and sensorial components. And those components of these responses are due to a firm's behavior in the customer journey. So, would the climate change or digital changes affect such a definition? Maybe or maybe not. For instance, you could argue that the climate change would make the environment much more important. So, would then maybe there be a need for an addition of a fifth dimension? Let's call it the environmental consequence or the environmental responses. However, you could also argue that, for instance, an attribute such as CO2 reduction or how energy savvy your car is actually a cognitive evaluation. And some customers have reported flying shame if they were taking an airplane to a specific destination. Would that actually not be an emotional response? In terms of digital, you could argue there has been digital changes in the last decades already for a long time. That has not been reflected in the definition of customer experience itself. You could maybe argue that maybe new technologies, or maybe the fact, for instance, metaverse, or maybe the fact that artificial intelligence is becoming more important, would affect customer experience as such. I'm not sure actually, but I would be very open to discuss that with you further. An important element of our Journal of Marketing paper, which actually I referred to already a bit with our definition on customer experience, we also introduced the customer journey, which goes through different stages, from pre-purchase, search to purchase. These stages are actually very old. So they're based on classic consumer behavior theories, which were already developed in the 60s. Will these environmental changes affect a customer journey? Will the climate change affect the customer journey? As a framework, I don't think so. However, maybe consumers will behave differently over time due to these changes. Maybe they will consider in shaping their customer journey what the CO2 effects are of their customer journey. Or, due to new technologies, for instance, the mentioned metaverse, digital will become an even better alternative of the store. We already also know, though, that there are different consumer segments in terms of using digital technologies in the customer journey. Some consumers are very digital oriented, while other consumers still use mainly the physical store. That might change a bit, but these segments are likely to stay here. So, in short, I'm very hesitant to immediately say that we should have come up with different theories and different frameworks. And this is not about defending this framework, it's about that a good theory should be resistant to important changes in the environment. I'm very looking forward to discuss these changes and the impact on marketing theories at the AMA Winter Conference in Nashville. So I'd like to end with, I hope to see you all at Nashville at the AMA Winter Conference.